Hi everyone, a blissful evening to one and all. On behalf of Dr. Ambedkar Institute of Technology, myself, Asharani KP, Assistant Professor, Department of CSE, I extend a cordial welcome to the dignitary, professors, and all the student participants to this online webinar on cybersecurity and ethical hacking. It's my pleasure to extend a special warm welcome to our distinguished speaker, Mr. Samarth Bhaskar Bhatt, for joining us online even in his busy schedule. The skill development program is organized in association with ISTE and Institute Innovation Council. Institute Innovation Council is initiated by MHRD, Government of India. Here, the primary mandate is to encourage, inspire, and nurture young students to think of new ideas, concepts, and develop working prototypes. As quoted by Robert Greene, the future belongs to those who learn more skills and combine them in creative ways. We are working towards this goal in providing platform to the students to acquire new skills. Now I take this opportunity to request our beloved Dean, Dr. Gauri Shankar sir, to welcome all of them and to introduce today's speaker for today's webinar. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Good evening to all. It is an honor to read the bio of today's resource person, Mr. Samarth Bhaskar Bhatt. So let me read the bio of Mr. Samarth Bhaskar Bhatt. He is the technical director at Reverse Engineering Infosec. He has over 6 years of experience in information security, design, and development of application software. He has audited 50 plus business web applications in the area of banking, finance, insurance, trading, and e-commerce. And he has also been appointed as the president of the Indian Cyber Army for Karnataka unit. He is a cyber security consultant to Indian Air Force at Nagpur. He is a cyber consultant to Chhattisgarh Police Department. He is also a certified ethical hacker. And we're also proud to inform all that Dr. AIT has an MOU with the Reverse Engineering Infosec, and Reverse Engineering Infosec, they have provided our students an opportunity to work in their organization as part of their internship program. Again, we welcome you, sir, and I also welcome all the participants today. And over to you, Ashma.
Thank you, sir. Now I request our speaker, Mr. Samarth, sir, to encourage and motivate our students for pursuing skills in cybersecurity. Over to you, sir, Samarth, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm just sharing my screen, ma'am.
Sure, sir.
Is my screen visible, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
So, good evening to all. Hope all of you are safe in this pandemic. So, today we shall discuss on the topic of ethical hacking and cybersecurity. Usually, these two terms are used interchangeably without any difference, but there is a big difference between these two terminologies, that is ethical hacking and cybersecurity. Most of you have heard about hacking as well as cybersecurity. Still, I want to ask a question of how many of you know what is hacking? What exactly is hacking when we speak on industrial terms? Can anyone answer me what is hacking? You can either unmute yourself or even drop it in the comment section. Breaches, yes, kind of. Any other answers? Okay, first of all, let's answer one question. Is hacking something real or myth? Before getting to know the definition of hacking, let's understand whether hacking is real or a myth. So when we say real, what is the proof? Since we are from engineering background, we have to speak with proof of concept. There should be any concept to be proved also with the demonstrations or anything. So when we say it is real, it should be applicable to all the products. Is it really true? How can we say that is it real and it's applicable to all the products? We shouldn't believe on any newspaper articles or any blogs. We should do it by demonstrations and come to a conclusion. Now tell me, is hacking something real or a myth? So some of you are mentioning it isn't applicable for all. Some of you are mentioning yes, it is applicable also. So understand one thing, hacking is nothing but purely a science. When I say science, when I do 1 plus 1 operation, I get the result equals to 2. The same operation, if you do it, you also have to get the result as 2. If I get 1 plus 1 equals to 3, and if you get 1 plus 1 equals to 2, it becomes an arts, not a science. So hacking is purely a science, which means whatever code or scripting, whichever I do, it should result in the same output as you do or I do. Then only it becomes a science. So when we answer the question, hacking is applicable to all the products, we have to see any proof of concept. We should show some results, should show some demonstrations. So to answer this question, always first we have to go to a site called cvedetails.com. Hope my screen is visible. Is my screen visible? Can anyone just confirm me?
Yes, sir. You can go ahead.
So this is one of the site which is considered as a Magna Carta or a Bible for cybersecurity engineers. This website is contributed by academicians, cybersecurity engineers, hackers, law enforcement agencies, military people, many people. They have tested almost each and every product in this IT domain. They have tried hacking it and they've shown how it can be hacked also. So if you just go to the left-hand side corner, you have a column called product search. So if you just click on that, click on any product, whichever you use it in this world. It may be operating system, it may be app, it may be softwares, it may be applications, anything also. Just mention it out here, you'll get the results. Let's take an example of Windows 10. If you can see here, Windows 10 shows me 2,435 vulnerabilities on the present day. That is on 2nd of November 2021. So if I just click on this, it shows me the list of ways of hacking also. So this is the proof of concept to say that hacking is something real and it is applicable to all the products in the world. To summarize, we can say that hacking is just like a diseases which are found in human body. There is no human body which is free of diseases. You take anyone will be suffering from common cold to corona to cancer. Similar way, any software product in this world has vulnerabilities. So the cybersecurity job role is similar to like a doctor's job role itself. How a doctor tests some bodies and categorizes the diseases based on its severity, cybersecurity engineer has to test the product and categorize its vulnerability from the scale of this score, that is CVSS score, which we mentioned, from 0 to 10. So if the vulnerabilities are above 7 to 10, it is considered as critical vulnerabilities, which has to be addressed immediately. It is just like a person suffering from cancer. If the person is known that after a test, he's been diagnosed with cancer, the doctor says immediately you need to get admitted and you have to start with chemotherapy. Same way here also, the CTO will take a call of immediately addressing the vulnerability by fixing it up. If the vulnerability ranges from 0 to 2, as shown in the screen, then it is just like a normal vulnerability or normal diseases which a human body suffers, just like a common cold or a normal fever. What will our doctor say? Doctor will tell you can tolerate it throughout your life, so go ahead. So no need to worry on those things. So this is the vulnerability scale from 0 to 10. So this is the proof of concept to say that hacking is something real. So tomorrow when you're going for your recruitments or anything, you cannot say that I'm a hacker. How do you have to project yourself is you have to know these vulnerabilities. If you say you're a doctor, you cannot say that you have to mention that you have worked. Like if you are a doctor, the doctor says, I know to diagnose cancer, I know to provide chemotherapy. Same way, you have to know to tell that you are aware of these vulnerabilities which are available in any product and how to work on it and how to patch it up. Those are known as CVE vulnerabilities. Clear on this concept? So CVE vulnerabilities is the Bible, we can mention it as, for our cybersecurity people. So now we can answer the question very easily. Is hacking applicable to all the products? Yes, definitely it's applicable to all the products. And it cannot be, there is no one-time solution. You have to be always be protecting it. There is no one-time solution where you can prevent the hacking. Can anyone say me, why can't hacking be prevented? Why is that hacking cannot be prevented? Human error. They are paying high salary jobs with a hefty packages, but still they are not able to prevent hacking. Why? You take any product in the world. Yes,
Sir, due
data
to
sharing
that,
is important, but why can't we share it in a safer way?
sir, due to wireless connection, sir.
What is the fault in wireless connection?
Sir, when we send it to the air or satellite, we can just access, sir. It is
Yes.
not end encrypted or like that, sir.
Yeah. One thing is, yes, as you mentioned, one is wireless security or wireless communication, which we say. If you send a hi WhatsApp message, it will not directly go to your friend. Instead, it will go to server. How will it go to server? It will go to server through air packets, which is nothing but radio signals. So it is moving around you. It's just like the viruses which you can't see, but softwares can see it, and through softwares, hackers see it. Just for an example, let's do a small demo here. Open your command prompt, go to search and enter CMD to see how the packet travels from your system to the server. So enter the command tracert space www.facebook.com. You can enter any website, not necessarily facebook.com. I am taking an example of facebook.com. So enter this. So here you can see the maximum number of hops. Hops means servers. So it means the packets are traveling from my system to Facebook server through 30 servers. So it will go on giving me the list one by one now till 30. It means, so if I'm in Mysore and if I'm accessing Facebook, first it will go to Mysore server, then it will go to Bangalore server, then Chennai, then Mumbai, similarly to Dubai, then it goes and lands up in the US servers. That is at the last point. Similar way, the messages are sent back. So when it's going through like this, through some ready-made softwares or tools, hackers can see it. The same thing if you send it through wire, it is impossible. Wired communication. It is not possible to hack when it is sent through wire. So that is one of the major reason why everything is hackable. Clear with this point? Any doubt on this? What
No,
is
sir.
another reason why everything can be hacked? Can anyone say me? Technical answer. Yes, there is loopholes. There are. Why can't we cover the loopholes? There is another major reason why we cannot prevent hacking. Because of technology. Yes, it is because of technology. Why? What is the technology? What is the loophole in the technology? Technical reasoning I'm expecting. Why can't we prevent it? Not social engineering. Without social engineering also it is not safe. Yes, none is perfect. Why is it not perfect is my question. Why is hacking not able to, why is hacking not preventable? Microsoft, Google, any product you take, why is it not so preventable? In spite of having the best of best employees, engineers, coders, everyone they have, but still they cannot stop hacking. Why?
Sir, as we can code, we can decode also, sir.
Why can't we again encode it?
Sir, if we decode means hackers will decode and they will know.
Okay, if hackers are there, I'm asking why can't you build a product which cannot be decoded? Yes, hackers can decode it. That is what everyone knows. But my question is, why can't it be prevented? Okay, before answering this question, you need to know few things which I would like to address. First thing is, you should know the conceptions and misconceptions of hacking. So unfortunately, we have a very bad reputation in our society if we say that we are hackers. Because whenever I ask what is hacking, most of them say like breaking passwords, stealing credentials, unauthorized access. These are all not hacking. These are all just part of hacking. The actual conception is coding, scripting, and manipulating. What is the difference between coding and programming?
Sir, coding is just language, just coding in language, sir. Typing some statements like that. But programming is thinking logically and solving the problem, sir.
Right. So the first prerequisite if you want to be a hacker is you have to know programming well. That to programming in standards. How many of you know what is standards? What are standards, by the way? Have you heard about programs in standards? Programming in standards? What are standards? So if you write a C program, will it get executed in all the compilers? Have you checked this out? It won't. So programming in standards is nothing but a style of writing a program in such a way that it is efficient and as much as possible it gets executed in most of the compilers. So usually in your recruitment they may ask you to write a simple programs. So the one who writes it with standards may get selected and may get higher package. The one who writes it in a normal way will get rejected or may get selected with a lower package. This is how they test it out. So if you're learning any programming language, learn it with standards. Now, for example, for standards is, for example, in C programming, after void main, you add one bracket. But in standards, you add two brackets. So this is the difference. So any programming language you learn it with standards. It may be C, C++, Java, PHP, ASP.NET, any programming language. Learn it with standards. That is the first prerequisite. That is the difference between a normal programmer and a hacker. The second one is scripting. Anyone knows what is scripting? What is the difference between programming and scripting?
The language which supports an interpreter is a scripting one.
Yes, partially yes. Any other answers? So scripting is nothing but, suppose you have multiple programs or multiple tasks to be executed. For example, you have one code as one program, for example, which performs addition operation. A plus B equals to C. So similarly, you have another program which performs another operation, that is A minus B equals to C, and A into B equals to C, and A divided B equals to C. So you want all these programs to be executed one by one with a single line of code or a program. Then automating these multiple programs or tasks is nothing but scripting. So multiple programs, you need to know how to automate it. That is nothing but known as scripting. In scripting, we use interpreter, not compiler. Line to line execution happens. So if there is an error in one line, the next line will not get executed. So this is a prerequisite which you should have. Coding in standards or programming in standards. Another one is scripting. And the next one is manipulating, as shown in the screen. So understood the concept of hacking. What exactly is hacking? So we answered the question, is hacking something real, by looking at the CVE score with proof of concept. Next is, we saw the conceptions and misconceptions of hacking. Now we'll look into the types of hackers. So usually there are 3 types of hackers as shown in the screen. Most of you might have been aware of it also. The first type is known as black hat hackers. Who are black hat hackers? Yes, black hat hackers are the ones who do the hacking for illegal purposes. For example, you can see the Pandora secrets which have been revealed today. For example, Julian Assange, who is the founder of WikiLeaks, who revealed the Pentagon secrets. So basically, all the definitions which you people mentioned, breaking passwords, stealing credentials, unauthorized accesses, all these things, these are known as black hat hackers. The next set of people are known as white hat hackers, who are nothing but the opposite of black hat, who work for the police department, who work for the law enforcement agencies, who work for the companies, software or protection, basically. Those are known as white hat hackers. So this example is the founder of Linux, Linus Torvalds. So there is another set of people known as gray hat hackers, which is a combination of black and white, who do both the stuffs, legal as well as illegal, depending on the circumstances. These are the 3 types of hackers. So hacking is just like a knife. We can use it for cutting fruits or vegetables as well as for killing a person. It depends on the intention of the person. So similar way, hacking is also a tool. It is just like mathematics, how we use it in physics, chemistry, everywhere. Hacking is used in each and every technology, because there is no technology without a code. There is programming involved. So there is a loophole. There is no technology which uses without radio communication or wireless communication. So hacking is possible wherever there is radio communication. So hacking is possible in all the technologies. It may be AI, ML, it may be IoT, it may be web development, app development, iOS development, anything. So hacking is just like mathematics. It is applicable to every technology. Usually we say it is a climax part of every technology. So whenever they build any technology, security is the most important aspect. So we saw 3 types of hackers. There is another set of people who are known as script kiddies. Who are these script kiddies? Who are these script kiddies? Script kiddies are the one who make use of the softwares which is being prepared by these 3 hackers. That is black hat, white hat, and gray hat. They don't even write a single line of program or code. They don't even know any programming language. They just make use of the softwares which is being prepared by these 3 hackers. These hackers, they write their own codes. They don't rely on softwares. So that's the difference between scripting, script kiddie, and hackers. So now we can answer the question why hacking cannot be prevented. One of the reason is radio communication. The another reason is we saw that how a packet travels from one system to the server, that is from source to destination. When it travels through air, it can travel through multiple ways, which we call multiple set of rules. What are those known as? Those multiple set of rules. Now, for example, I can travel from Bangalore to Delhi in multiple ways. If I travel through air, it becomes one protocol. If I travel through bus, it becomes another protocol. If I travel through train, it's another protocol. For example, if I travel through air, it will be FTP. If I travel through HTTP, if I travel through bus, it will be like HTTP. If I travel through train, it may be like TCP. So similar way, the packet can travel in how many number of ways, which I mean the total number of protocols. Can anyone tell me the number? How many number of protocols are present? Any guess of total number of protocols? So the total number of protocols are 65,535 protocols. Like TCP, FTP, HTTP, there are 65,535 protocols. For example, your WhatsApp uses EXMP. Your live streaming apps like YouTube and all uses UDP. Your web application uses HTTP. Like your WhatsApp calling uses SIP. Like this, there are 65,535 protocols. So a hacker can hack through 65,535 ways. There is no one company which has 65,535 engineers. Can anyone name me any company which has 65,535 engineers? So this is the major reason why hacking cannot be prevented. So that is the reason hackers are successful in spite of having the best of best engineers with those company people who develop the softwares or any products. So hacking is inevitable. It is applicable to all the technologies. It may be IoT, it may be web development, it may be app development, anything also. Usually when you go to your recruitments, you get recruited on 3 domains. One is programming, one more is operating system, one more is database. If you know anything among these 3, you will get recruited. So like this, in every company, there is 7 stages. The first one is programming, then is operating system, then is database. The 7th layer is nothing but networking layer. So here, purely cybersecurity persons are recruited. There is a new designation which has arrived called CRO, which means Chief Risk Taking Officer. The job of this person is to find out the list of vulnerabilities and take a call on which vulnerability is seriously to be addressed on immediate basis. That is on CVSS course. So now we have learned on all the things about hacking. So now we should know what is the cyber security concept. Cyber security is nothing but the protection. See, hacking cannot be prevented, it can only be protected. So in order to protect, we have to provide security. That's nothing but cyber security. So it is applicable to all the technologies. What is the major gap which we find in academics and industry is usually you people learn coding, but to a limited extent. I don't say you have not learned at all, or what you have learned is totally outdated. You should stop learning those. You have learned through standard books like Balgur Swami, Padma Reddy, or any standard books, but that is not sufficient today. You should learn programming up to scripting to interpreter level, and networking concept you should know. For example, ping command. I think most of you know what is ping command. Can anyone tell me which protocol is the ping command? Can anyone mention me which protocol does ping command come into? No, it is not TCP. It is ICMP. Internet Control Message Protocol. So ICMP protocol comes in which OSI layers? So you should know these concepts. These are the things which you have to know. So now how do you start preparing for cybersecurity basically? So that is what I wanted to know. You have learned the concept what industry expects. So how you should prepare yourself. That is what we are conducting a workshop probably in the upcoming weeks. So what exactly will be covered in the workshop and how you need to prepare, that is what I'm going to take up in the next few minutes. Then we shall perform few more demonstrations and I'll take up your question and answer session. So how to start with cybersecurity? First thing is you should be curious enough. There is no prerequisite that you have to have. You should know programming or you should know algorithms or you should know anything, any database, anything. If you're curious enough, that is more than sufficient. Then you have to start with script kiddies. You have to know all the ready-made softwares which are available for hacking. After that, you should know programming and scripting. Then you should go to CTF, which we call capture the flag. Capture the flag means there are certain labs where you can practice hacking. They have created ready-made scenarios in the past how the hacking has taken place. You should perform all those labs. Once you perform those labs, you can participate in company organized programs called bug bounty. Bug bounty means a company will organize a program and give full permission to you to hack into their products. So if you hack into their products, they will pay you. So that is only known as bug bounty. It's like bounty killings. Bounty means money, bug. So if you find every bug, they will pay you. So that is how you should learn hacking now. So this is what will be taught in your workshop from the scratch. So the next thing is you have to have certifications in order to get jobs. So there are usually two global bodies which provide certifications. One is EC Council and one more is SANS. Now EC Council is an global body which provides around 23 certifications like CEH, Certified Ethical Hacking, CHFI, Certified Hacking Forensic Investigation, License Penetration Testing, like this plenty. So if you are certified with that, that is, you have to take up the certification, you clear it with the examination. It's a multiple choice based exam. If you clear it, you'll be certified for 3 years. So based on that, you may get a package of 3.5 to 5 lakhs per annum. But this has turned out to be outdated since it is multiple choice based. So students usually mug up and they don't have technical expertise. So there is another global body known as SANS, which is the leading global body in the world. There are only 10,000 people who are certified. Out of that, Indians are leading among 1,000. So if you are certified with this SANS certification, your minimum package will be 16 lakhs. You take any company which is visiting to your college itself or any company off campus also, their company policy it is. SANS certified people have to be offered minimum 16 lakhs per annum. So each certification will cost you around 3.5 to 7 lakhs. It's valid for 3 years. You'll get a minimum package of 16 lakhs. That if you just clear it. But if you have cleared it with like a distinction, which we call coin holder. If you have cleared with coin holder concept, then either you get 2 calls, one from the government agencies, one from the terrorist organizations, for sure. So another one is freelancing. So there is another certification now which is booming, which is known as OSCP. These are SANS and OSCP are technical based. There is no multiple choice involved in it. So if you have cracked that also, you can get 10 lakhs per annum package very easily. So this is on the career in cybersecurity. Applications, it's applicable to all the technology. See, wherever you go, there is coding involved. It is impossible to have a technology without coding. It may be AI, it may be ML, it may be development, it may be networking, it may be data analytics. So let's do demonstration and conclude the session. Then I'll take up few questions from your end. So the first thing is how to find out whether your emails are hacked or not. How do you find out? How many of you feel your emails are safe? So just go to the website called Have I Been Pawned? Go to this link and enter your mail ID. So if you get red color, it means that your email is hacked. If you get it as green color, then it means your email is safe. So let me show you a small demo by entering my mail ID. So if you can see here, this is the green color, which shows that there is no pawnage, which means no hacking found. This is my official mail ID. Let me show you with my personal mail ID. You also can try it simultaneously. You can see here I'm getting red, which means 6 data breaches, which means 6 sites have leaked out my data. So if you can see here, which are those like Domino's, Dunzo, Exploit, IndiaMart, LinkedIn, all these have revealed my user credentials. That is my username and password. So this is how you check whether your emails are hacked or not. Similarly, you can check it for your phones also. How to check whether your phones are being hacked? To check whether your phone is being hacked, just open your dial pad and enter *62#. I *62#. And click enter. You can choose any SIM. So it shows whether your voice or calls are being forwarded or not. So you should get the option as not forwarding always. If you get there is a forwarding option, it means that there is a third person who is intercepting your voice calls. This is how you check your phones are being hacked or not. Similar way to check whether your laptop is hacked or not, that is your system is hacked or not, open CMD, go to start and enter CMD. You should get this small command prompt that is black screen as shown in the screen. Enter the command netstat, NETSTAT, and click enter. So it gives you the list of connections which are connected to your system. So observe carefully what I'm going to say it out. Ignore 127.0.1 because that is by default every system will have. Microsoft provided it as localhost. Other than that, any other IP address which is starting, the first bit should start with the same number. If you can see in my case, the first bit is starting with 192. Not necessarily yours also should start with 192. It can be 182, 162 also. But the first bit should be same throughout the length. Then it means your system is safe. Or else there is another connection without your knowledge. That is what it means. If you have 192, 182 at the same time. So this is how you check whether your system is hacked or not. So now I would take up few questions from your end if you have any doubts before concluding.
Sir, there was a doubt through the chat window they have posted, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, I'm just looking into it.
Yes.
So can AI take over cybersecurity? It's not AI take over cybersecurity. It is integrated with AI. So you develop any AI applications, end of the day, it has to have security. So without security, AI will be a product which is not safe. That's all. So what if the website itself is hacked and provides wrong information? So this is considered as credible information because no one has proved it as it is wrong. So if you are able to prove it as wrong, then yes, we can also consider it as a wrong website.
Sir, how to correct if the phone is hacked means sir, voice call is forwarding.
By default, it will be forwarded to one number, voices, because that is your server. Like it may be Airtel, BSNL, Jio, whichever service you are using. If you have more than one number, then you should be worried.
Thank you, sir.
I think there are no other questions, sir.
Then probably we can conclude and wind up, ma'am.
One more, sir. One more question.
One more question. Okay. Can secure protocols like HTTPS also be hacked? Yes, HTTPS are also being hacked. There is vulnerabilities in that. If you go to CV details and enter HTTPS, it will show the list of vulnerabilities in that.
Okay, if there are no questions, I'll just proceed. Thank you so much, sir, for very informative presentation, that too along with the practical demo. Thank you very much. Now I request Professor Srinivas sir to propose vote of thanks.
Thank you, ma'am. Good evening, participants. May I audible now?
Yes, sir, you can go ahead.
Okay. So we are at the end of the webinar on cybersecurity and ethical hacking. This webinar is means to disseminate knowledge for those who are interested in cybersecurity and who want to know the intricacies of ethical hacking. I am sure that all the participants of this webinar are benefited. Now let me move to the duty entrusted to me. So being one of the coordinators of this program, it is my privilege to propose the vote of thanks on this occasion. Dr. M. Meenakshi Ma'am, Principal, is a constant inspiration for all the activities in our institution. On behalf of the CSE department, I acknowledge our gratitude to you, Ma'am. So Dr. M. V. Vijayakumar, Vice Principal, has given constant support and encouragement. On behalf of the CSE department, I acknowledge our gratitude to you, sir. So Dr. Gaurishankar S. Dean, Industry Institute Instruction, is a catalyst who inspires us to do our best, and we acknowledge the guidance he has extended to all of us. Thank you, sir. So Dr. Siddharaj sir, Dean, Academic Professor and Head Department of CSE, is a well-wisher of all of our activities. On behalf of the CSE department, I record our deep sense of appreciation and gratitude, sir. So we have been fortunate to be supported by a team of active and dedicated coordinators who are well versed in their jobs. My colleagues, Ms. Ashani KP, Mr. Pravina Yammi, and Ms. Veena A, have worked hand in making this event a success. Thank you all. I also appreciate the efforts of our resource person, Mr. Samar Bhaskar, who delivered an outstanding session on cybersecurity and ethical hacking, which goes a long way in cultivating a hacking mindset in youngsters. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Ananda.
Thank you so much, sir. Samad sir, thanks a lot for joining us.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, one all.